Hello, hello, hello. It's your boys, the DM podcast, once again giving you another podcast for the week. And your NBA, of course, the NBA is not here right now, but we are still doing our redrafts. Today being the 96 draft, which quite frankly, was our generation of ball. Like our beginning for I can really speak for
Yep,
myself, was really when I saw a lot of ball. 95 was too, but that 96 was really when I saw a lot of the stars come in, when I was really paying attention to ball, when those guys were in like their third or fourth years. And we have a lot of Hall of Famers, so I can't wait for us to get to our top 10. But we also got to talk about Team USA and of course our Team Canada. But before we start, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And how is my boy YS? How's it going?
you already know. Every day above ground.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
As long as we're above ground, it's all we can be happy about, ultimately speaking. So the first thing I wanted to dive in and talk about was just to get some news and notes. The Olympics is here. There's a bunch of things, and maybe we'll talk about running in case we both tend to watch a 100 meter, a 200 meter. We may watch it.
Definitely.
DeGrasse shouts out to the Canadian, so hopefully he wins. I know there was some controversy with Team Canada soccer. They ended up losing like 6 points. Some people got fired. There's some drones.
Yeah, I heard about that. That was kind of wild. But it was since the first time I'm hearing about the drone play.
Yeah, but then I think it was like Drogba or maybe Ronaldinho. A player had said like, "This is not the first time it's happened." To act like this Team Canada not the only team to have ever done it.
Yeah.
So to act like it's like a thing, it's a thing because you don't want cheating. And Team Canada as a soccer organization has gotten so much better, but a lot of people don't like how it's ran. They don't like how Team Canada is ran because ultimately there's not a lot of money that's put into it, which there isn't. When it comes to facilities, when it comes to building players, it's just not the same, which I think that's an overall Canada issue. I don't think that's a team soccer issue. I think it's an overall Canadian issue. I don't think we put money into sports at that same level as countries like the States, UK, Germany, Russia do. So, but I do think, but Team Canada was growing, man. The women's team is actually the better of the bunch. The men's team is starting to catch up. But the women's team with like Christine Sinclair, who's no longer on the team anymore, but that I had a lot of people. I had a lot of people. So shouts out to Team Canada. I hope they won today against France, which was a big win because
That's huge.
like France is a good women's team. So like that shouts out to the Canadian women's for that. Hopefully they can still do their thing. But that whole Team Canada thing is kind of weird. But overall, the Olympics is here. And I like the Olympics. You know, what do you like? What's your thought process of the Olympics?
Man, I love the Olympics, best of the best in the world there, come to compete, right? Literally the best of the best, right? In all types of sports, right? But just one thing about the Olympics, especially this year, I don't know what they were doing with the Last Supper, blasphemy sort of thing, like mockery, like you shouldn't be doing that stuff still. You know what I mean? Like if any other religion was mocked, it would be way more of an issue, I feel. You see what I'm saying? But they didn't mock Christianity like that. I wasn't feeling still. And a lot of people weren't feeling still. And a lot of people pulled sponsorships from the Olympics. I was just surprised, like, because this is families, like, this is someone I was watching when I was like a kid with my moms and pops, right? You know what I mean? Just 10 years old. Sue's gonna win a 100 meter, 200 meter, right? Freestyle, swimming, right? All that stuff was exciting, right? But it should be just about the sport, not about, you shouldn't bring religion and blasphemy in, just make it about the sport. Like, that's it. You know what I mean? Just
Like you had said, and you don't really realize it until like, oh, the Olympics is it always gets like some of the highest ratings. Like it's like Super Bowl and the Olympics. And it's because as a family, you're really watching the
yeah,
Olympics. I remember, as a kid watching Donovan Bailey like win. Like it was a whole cousins, everyone was
yeah, yeah,
over to watch the 100 meter. Like it was a big deal,
yeah,
to
yeah,
watch this. So but this is back in the day, like it was about that 96, I believe. Oddly enough, the same time we're talking about this
Uh,
draft.
yeah, yeah,
So the Olympics is such a big deal. I will agree, and this is not no religious podcast, but I think we're two people who believe in faith, and you're right. If this was another religion, I don't think that would fly. I'm actually very like happy to see that people are against it. That people like we're like, no, this is crazy.
yeah, yeah. Me too.
Like
Me too.
this is a little demonic type shit. Like
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is a little offensive to some people. I think sometimes organizations try so hard to be different and try to like provoke conversation. So when they provoke conversation is gonna be had, and it can be good or bad. And I think sometimes people like to do that. But I will agree with you. I
it's
think that stuff
not
was
like
like,
this. Yeah,
yeah, it's not right. It's off-putting, like you had said. It's something that you grew up watching with your family. You plan to. We all have families do the same thing. Like, oh, hey, kids, watch the Olympics. It is like the best of the best is playing. This is where you see Simone Biles, you see Michael Phelps. Like this is where you see the best, right? So it's kind of disappointing, but all in all, I think we're both excited for the Olympics. It's fun. It happens every 4 years, so
hmm.
it's nice to kind of see what people come up with and what they do. Now, speaking of the Olympics, we have our own, of course, Team Canada, our basketball team, who won against Greece yesterday. I don't have the box score around me, but I watched I watched the first and second quarter. I didn't watch the third. I watched the fourth. It was overall a good game, I would say. Greece did fight near the end. I'll
They
definitely say
did.
that. They
They
definitely
did.
fought near the end. And Giannis hit his free throws. He was definitely hitting his free throws. But Shea was just that fourth quarter, that clutchness, that believing in that one guy to kind of lead us. Shea did his thing.
Definitely,
I, I,
definitely. Yeah.
I know Shea had 21 points and RJ had 23. They beat Giannis. Giannis doesn't really have a lot of guys around him.
You didn't have help like that. Yeah, you didn't have
He
help.
didn't. And these European guys, man, people can say these European players can play. I don't care what anyone tells you. These guys play harder. They play defense. They're not even good at defense, but they play harder defense than NBA guys.
They do. They do.
So, but yeah, what are some of your takeaways? Did you get to see the game?
Man, I didn't get to see the game, unfortunately. I just seen some highs, right? And, that's about it still. So,
Giannis, the one thing with Giannis, he looked kind of like either out of it, but I think he could have been hurt, but he didn't look himself. But it looked more mental than physical. Like, and I saw a clip of like Jeff Teague say that when Thanasis is not around, Giannis is like,
oh, yeah,
yeah, you seen that clip? It's like Giannis is a more depressed player.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
he plays better when his brothers are, and he only trains with his brothers. He's only with his brothers. You don't see him. You never hear the man has a best friend in the NBA. His best friends are his brothers.
yeah, yeah. I rate that. So he's not trying to say, hey, let me train with KD or let me train with Steph or, he's not one of those guys still. And I respect that.
Right? He was the one with Kobe. He was with Olajuwon, like letting to learn how to do certain move sets and things like that. So it's kind of different, but I thought they fought hard. Greece definitely fought hard. Canada was just has more talent. Like now we can say Canada has the depth. We're playing mainly NBA guys except Melvin Ejim. But like besides that, it's all NBA guys.
It is all
You
NBA guys.
know,
Yeah.
Brooks and Dort played good defense, but they got a lot of they got into foul trouble. They got fouled out. That's gonna happen when you're being a little aggressive, especially you're going against Giannis.
And you're undersized. So,
You're in a set. There's nobody who can compete with Giannis. None of them. No
and
one
you're
physically can.
undersized. So,
Yeah, so you try your best with the Giannis. Other than that, Jamal Murray, he's obviously coming back from like a little bit of an injury, so they're not trying to rush him in. So he came off the bench.
yeah.
to me, I'm okay with him coming off the bench until he feels more comfortable,
100. I was looking at it as he came off the bench because I think this is his first team Canada
right?
Olympic, so maybe that's why too. So plus the injury, so a little bit of both. Both. That's what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
like you just let them rest and you let them just kind of chill, let them do their thing, which will be fine. Which this is such a I just thought of this right now. I'm not sure. Normally, guys who come out of the Olympics play way better, but I feel like a team like Denver having a Jokic who will get to Team USA because they lost today, and then Jamal both kind of going into the season potentially tired. I think that that's not going to help Denver. There's going to be young teams like the Houston Rockets that are
Yeah,
going to be like ready to compete.
I agree. I agree.
So it probably it makes you think of things like that. But overall, I'm happy Team Canada won. Their next game is against Australia with Giddy and Ingles and Patty Mills. And Australia's a tough team as well.
Yes, they got a squad. They got a squad, and they always had a squad, right?
They hit
Ingles,
their shots as well.
Ingles is lights out. Mills is lights out. Ben Simmons is not playing, obviously. So
So it'll be much better. So good for them. Good for them to be much better. Right. So it's a good squad. They literally cut like Thibault. They cut Thibault. They said Thibault, we don't need you.
NBA mans,
They kind of own NBA man and said we're good. We rather keep our Australian guys because Australian league is pretty good. So we have those guys. Like they
yeah.
have a squad.
Isn't Bane? Is Bane Australian?
Baines is, but I think Baines has since his time in Toronto, he was hurt. Like he had a really big injury that could have cost him his NBA career. So I don't think he like does that stuff no more.
He's not, just doesn't play basketball at
Yeah, no,
all.
I think he like really got hurt and stuff.
Shout out to
So
Bane, though.
like
Shout out to Bane.
yeah, he was like the scapegoat for the Tampa season, which everything else should have been the scapegoat for that Tampa season instead of being
Everything. Us being Tampa.
that was the scape, right? So but yeah, I definitely noticed that that squad is good. So that Canada versus Australia game is going to be good. Shout out to South Sudan who won against Puerto Rico because a lot of people were saying whatever they wanted to say. Like Gilbert Arenas had his horrible take on it, things like that. So it was kind of off to see. Now, Team
But I feel like
USA,
I'm is just trying to start a conversation. That's
you realize it. Like I think he really knows what he's doing. He
yeah.
knows like I'm gonna say some shit, some crazy shit.
And McCants and Rashad McCants. Because McCants be saying some stuff that's like, what?
Like you weren't really like that. But he talks like he was like that. Like he talks like he was like that. And
Um,
everyone looks at him like when he talks, you just gotta look at Kenyon Martin's face, and some bullshit's being said.
yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah,
Kenyon looks at him like, I can't believe this man's really saying this,
yeah. There was a
right? So,
wild take, and you hear Kenyon and Gilbert cursing like, because they're like, get the fuck out of here. No, shut the fuck up back to back. And I'm just like,
yeah, and
it's McCants, right?
I think he does it for sure. Now we go to Team USA because that's the big team. That's the team that's
Boo, boo. I'm joking. Shout out USA. Canada,
um
you already know.
the team that's probably gonna win is Team USA because they're just so talented.
Probably.
Yeah, they're gonna win. Yeah, they're incredibly talented. Kevin Durant played. I saw like the first half, him and LeBron were like
14
100%.
of 14.
Whew.
What?
Yeah. I feel like, and I wanted to ask you, this USA team, because it's gonna lead us to talking about Tatum not playing. I really feel like this USA squad, there's always like a storyline, and I feel like this storyline is like it's the goodbye song to LeBron. It's the only time you're gonna get to see a LeBron, Steph, and Durant. Like the next 4 years from now, it's Jason Tatum's gonna be 30, 31. So
Yeah.
you know he's on the squad.
So he's
You know,
definitely like, yeah,
so
he's
like the
should be starting.
starting exactly the starting unit's gonna be him and Edwards, and then probably somebody else, right? So you already know that Jason Tatum is the future of Team USA. But but do you see there being like some sort of it's like almost even LeBron's thing. Like even LeBron carrying the flag. Which shouts out to LeBron. You know I'm a LeBron guy. I'm a huge LeBron guy. So like that's amazing. And for the first NBA player ever to hold the flag is LeBron for Team USA. Like shouts out to LeBron. He's been he's been LeBron,
That's gold status. That's gold status player.
right? So like
Gold.
so to me, but it really just seems like this, even the team, LeBron gets a lot of shots. It's like a lot of LeBron. So I almost think like, are we catering to LeBron, or is LeBron just that good? Is it is
You
is it
know,
like a
we're
Steph
kind
and
of. He's the
Anthony?
face. He's the face. So you got to, and you're the face of the league. You're overseas, worldwide. They're gonna want their faces of the league. KD is still a face, right? Popularity, right? Steph, LeBron. Which two did well? Right? KD and LeBron, right?
Yeah,
So,
it's
right, and
true.
this is their last Olympics, I'm assuming, clearly, right? So they're gonna that's just what it is, right?
Yeah, the way you would think it's definitely LeBron's because he said
It
it. My
should
last
be.
one.
Should be.
KD, it should be his last one. Like KD probably has like LeBron probably has 2 more years if we had to guess.
You, in the league, yeah, LeBron. Honestly, I don't know about that guy still.
It's
I
weird, right?
honestly,
Because it should be two.
it should be, but this man's like bionic man, so
Steph, I think Steph has another Olympic in him, but he may not play in it. But I think he could have it with the way he plays.
because he could just catch, shoot, move it out the ball, still a threat.
Yeah,
He's still a great asset to a team, even if he's not getting by you like that, explosive like that. You know what I mean? Dancing in like that. So yeah.
right. So, but yeah, it just seems like I swear there's supposed to be a picture of all three of them, doing like the Jordan, Bird, and Magic pose. But I think I saw the picture. It's not the same pose. It doesn't have I don't know. It doesn't feel like the same iconicness. But there is a picture of the three of them, that people really wanted to happen. But so Jason Tatum, you know, he didn't play. Him and Halliburton, but no one cares that Halliburton didn't play.
No
Because
one
I was
gives a
thinking to
fuck how
myself,
women play.
someone has like the team is too deep. Someone doesn't have to play. But I think about how did Jason Tatum not play? And respectfully, Drew Holiday, which we both believe is a great defender, he
Yeah,
needs to be playing. And also Derek White also played. These are his teammates.
yeah. I know. I
But
know.
Jason
That's weird.
Tatum being the best player on that Boston Celtics squad that won the title, who could have won Finals MVP, did not play. Steve
It's
Kerr
like he
said,
was wearing a Jalen Brown t-shirt or something like that. You know what I mean? Because DW gets his. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Drew gets his, right? And it's like, huh? You couldn't give Tatum like it wasn't a it was a wire to wire kind of victory. It
right.
wasn't like a, you know what I mean? You guys were close-ish, maybe in the first half,
Yeah.
right? But then around like the halftime, you guys were up like in double digits. I believe KD hit that fall away shot, momentum, even more momentum. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know, like I don't
it's
know.
Jason Tatum. Well, Kerr said that he feels like an
Bingo.
idiot not playing Jason Tatum. And I'm thinking like, yeah, I think you have Jason Tatum, and I thought Jason Tatum would be the starting in the starting unit. That's what I thought. Like I thought the mans that weren't going to get a lot of minutes, like Halliburton makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
Derek White would make sense. I thought maybe Bam wouldn't get a lot of minutes because of you already have Anthony Davis, but
Yeah.
the way Embiid plays, oh my goodness, why is that guy even on the squad? I saw that his stat line, he has the worst plus minus on the team. Like he's just not a good player.
How do you have that on that squad? You know what I mean? And shout out to Steve Kerr. He's not a great coach. He's not a good coach. So that's another reason why Tatum can get PT,
It's just
right?
weird, right? Like
Ulstra has his favorites, I hear, through the grapevine, right? So,
he definitely does, and like we get it. So this is where it, like I was saying before, because I was reading something or listening to something, and the person said maybe you don't put Jalen Brown there because he may believe he wants to score. Like when you're on the squad, you do need to take an L. you do need to realize like I won't be the leading scorer. Like
And
all
that's
these
okay
men
though.
are leading scorers. All these men are leading
All
scorers.
the men's are leading sports on the squad. Yeah, it's like
But you need to that's why I think it's almost like everyone came to the agreement that LeBron's gonna be our leading scorer. Even though I think at one point LeBron didn't want to be, but they were playing too all-star like, and LeBron had to be like, let's try to
he's the
win.
face. It makes so much sense.
It does.
Like this has nothing to do with NBA contract or whatever. So if LeBron is supposed to be dropping 20 points, they need to make him whatever. Cool. As long as we win this gold medal, that's all I'm okay with. I don't really care about anything else, right? Goes the gold medal goes and then right sure Olympic scoring all time. KD's USA Olympic score all time scoring. It was medal before. Does that mean really something?
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't.
To the person, yeah, but in general, not really. Right? Not really. So it's really about the NBA season, winning rings in the NBA season, and just the gold medal. That's just what it is. So guys shouldn't care about the Olympics. Like if they average 4 points a game, it's a gold medal, they get a gold medal, they get a bite on, you're good. That's really it.
When they won a gold medal with like when they had DeMar and Kyle on the squad, DeMar was the one who didn't get any PT. Like he got none. But at the end of the day, who cares? The man is holding that gold. Like even Jimmy Butler, I don't think got a lot of PT that time. Like a lot of men didn't get a lot of love. But at the end of the day, you're having the gold medal. You do your thing. But I think the
Mhm.
question is like, will people take the L? Like, is Jason Tatum going to be like, oh, I'll just play defense. I'll play defense and lock someone down and hit the occasional jumper, like a Drew Holiday, like a Derek White. Like, am
You
I
have to
willing to
look at
play
it.
the role?
You have to look at the way like I'm just really working and honing in on different parts and aspects of my game. That's how they have to approach it. That's all. Like the maturity has to be there. If you're not mature, then you're gonna take like, oh, but if you're mature, you're gonna look at that assignment like, okay,
Which is like, because I agree with you. Tatum, when you're on the squad, the thing is, like you've been saying, you said it last week, you said it again. It should never matter who scores. It should never. We're the USA. We literally have LeBron, Steph, KD, Jason Tatum, freaking Derek White, Drew Holiday, Jalen. Like we have mans. Like the way I'm looking at like a Jalen, not Jalen, Bam Adebayo, and then even Anthony Davis. The way those two mans are playing, they're playing so like we'll just grab rebounds
yeah, yeah,
and play
yeah. Hungry,
defense. So they're
hungry.
taking the L. They're just like we'll grab rebounds, play defense. Devin Booker looks incredibly unhappy being around everyone. Um, I think Anthony Edwards. I was have you seen him? He looks unhappy being on that
The
squad.
young guys, the young
Uh,
guys.
Anthony
Wow.
Edwards, he's playing well. I think they're playing him because they know he's the future,
Yeah,
so they want to get him like some reps.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
in saying that, he's still the young guy. Like he's still the young guy who kind of wants to be put the straps on me. I'll lead these guys. Like I'll lead Steph and LeBron, which is like Mr. Edwards, chill out.
You're not
You're,
that guy right now.
you're not that guy right now. It's just nah. So Jason Tatum, I'm pretty sure is gonna play games. He should. They have like a potential like death lineup of like Steph, LeBron, Tatum, Durant, and like Anthony Davis if they ever want to put like they have they have lineup galore. Like they
This is
really do.
like we said, the best USA team in like over 20 years, easy. Like,
Legit,
easy.
legit. Like they're the ones they can go toe to toe with that last Kobe one with I think it was what, oh 08.
Was it 08? Was it Melo, Wade, Kobe?
Yeah, Melo, Wade, Kobe.
That was
Like Melo came off the bench. I think Wade came off the bench as well. Dwight Howard was a starter. I think it was yeah that like Jason Kidd was on the squad for veteran leadership. Chris
yeah.
Paul's on the squad. Like Darren Williams, like guys like
Prime
that.
Diva. Prime Diva. Fans forget Prime Diva was a problem.
That guy was man. That was my guy. Illinois was my team. Like he was my guy.
Jeez.
Luther had freaking
Shout out Luther had. Oh, let's be yo.
that's nah, that was my team still. Um, yeah. So this USA team is interesting because I think it's always look they won a game today, and all people can talk about is the fact that Jason Tatum didn't play.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's always going to be something like that. But what can you do? It's only 40 minutes in FIBA. It's not like it's 48. It's 8 less minutes that you can play multiple people. LeBron played 26. You want to get KD some rhythm. You're hoping Jason Tatum took that L, but I do think it is kind of weird. As we're talking about right now, the man won an NBA title, and you're like,
Coaching, coaching.
unless his team, like the team said, hey, we just want him to be there, because that does happen. Where like the organization will be like, we just want Jason to be there. We don't need him to be doing all that playing shit. We just
That
want the
hey,
title,
that I never looked at it like that. Be yeah.
right? Because he does such a heavy load, so you're kind of like, I don't want him to go crazy anyway, right? You could be saying something like that. Lastly, with Team USA, we both believe they're gonna win, but should Joel Embiid continue starting?
No,
Why you say?
he should be playing for Cameroon. That's why, and he's not serious. Like I don't need to say anything else.
Yeah, he's not serious. I just think he's one of those. He falls into the category of what they think Jason Tatum is, in the sense of like,
Yeah,
bro, you're on a squad with all these players. You think that we should give you the ball the whole time? You know what? We really don't need you. We're actually better with Anthony Davis and Bam. We'll just like we only and we barely need you with. Okay, I get it. There's Jokic on the other squad, and there's Bogdanovich. That's it. Okay, we have NBA players. I'm like,
we have
we
NBA players. That's
and we have like the top echelon, not just we don't have the Mikal Bridges, no offense to these guys, but we don't have like Desmond Bain, Mikal Bridges, and who were on the squad last time, Jaren Jackson Jr. We got freaking Bam and Anthony Davis. We're good.
yes.
Like it's a different squad. So, but I look forward to continue watching that squad and seeing the. I want to see more of that like Durant, Steph Curry, LeBron thing because like, man, these are the guys who were like the three faces of the league the past 10 years.
Yeah, I think
So
yeah. Yeah.
them playing with each other is actually pretty cool to see. I didn't get to see the game as much or at all actually. So it was something nice to see. Before we get to the main event, I just quickly wanted to mention that Tyus Jones got signed to
The
the Phoenix
Suns, right?
Suns.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That ultimately isn't a bad like place to get signed.
No, they need a guard, so they're trending in the right direction. Like Phoenix actually did something. They got. I don't know if he's going to be starting or the
I don't
backup.
think so. I think he's the backup.
Well, that's a great backup. Now, who's the starting
Really
guard? Now,
good.
that's the next.
He's probably closing with like the closing lineup. You go really small. You go him at the one, you go then Booker, then Beal, and then Durant, and then you probably go Nurkic, or you go KD at the five.
That lineup has no defense.
Yeah, then you have to bring like a Royce O'Neal. So you bring
Yeah,
KD at the
so
five.
Nurkic at the five. KD's your shot blocker. Like he's okay, but like
But yeah, and he has no size. Because if you're facing Anthony Davis, you need Nurkic. Or Anthony Davis is going a field day because you're not saying, hey, Durant, we need you to play the five. Here's Anthony Davis.
he's not gonna AD in
Like
the post. Stop
he'll
this.
kill him. He'll kill him. Even if you double team him. There's
KD's maybe like 220 at 7 foot. Like he's gonna get
yeah,
killed
no, it
from
just, it
AD.
just wouldn't work. No matter what you decide. And Booker's not that great a defender. And
Like
then
he's capable. He's a capable. We're gonna say he's
yeah,
capable.
that's
But
true. Beal,
Tyus Jones is, I want to say 5'10".
right, right. Bradley Beal is like not a defender like that. No, but I do think offensively, like I think, like you said, bringing Tyus Jones, when we redo our rankings again, it definitely makes me think about them more.
He moved the needle a little bit, a little bit, a little bit.
He's a good bench guy. He's a really good bench guy,
They need a bench. They need a
right?
bench.
So it's not as bad. Um, I wish he would have went to a more of a contender, but I don't know where's more of a contender for him. Like maybe if I know Denver just got Westbrook, but if it could have
Mitchell,
happened like a 1 year 3 mil for him in Denver, I would have liked that. That would be nice. Even in Minnesota, like try like a
I
sign and
think in
trade.
Minnesota, but I'm like, okay, Conley, then who's their backup again? The bench.
No, yeah, like I think it's Jordan McLaughlin could be like they have a few guys. Um, And then you also probably want to get Anthony Edwards some touches at the one, or just handling the ball more. So I don't know. Maybe we want to do something like that. But yeah, shout out to Tyus Jones. But let's get to our main event, which is the 96 draft, which had a ton of all NBAers, a ton of all stars. Like I was saying in the beginning, this is one of the best drafts. And some people would say this is the top, we'll say most likely it's definitely a top three draft. It's got
Definitely.
84, 96, and 03. The best three
Oh,
drafts
three. Yeah, I was
in
gonna
recent
say
memory,
honorable mention is the 99, 98, 99.
which was 98, really.
98, 99. So that was I
Uh,
think the lockout
the,
year. And that was VC, Dirk, Paul Pierce, Jameson in that draft.
oh, that's 99. I think that's 99. Yeah,
That's 99? That's 99
yeah.
2000? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's so much underrated drafts. Like, I think what's gonna go down in history is the '09 draft is gonna be one of the
Yeah,
most underrated drafts of all time
definitely.
because like you had no matter how you slice it, you had four franchise guys in Steph, James Harden, DeMar DeRozan. No matter how you slice it, he was a franchise for the
Kevin Love, I
Raptors.
believe, was that draft, right?
Sorry,
Was Kevin Love that draft?
no, Kevin was at the following.
Jeez. Oh,
Oh no, Kevin Love is the year previously. He's the
okay,
'08. Yeah, because
okay.
he's with Russell Westbrook. Another good draft, right? Another really good draft was that Westbrook
I'm
draft,
confusing that draft with okay, that's what I was
right?
confused.
Like there was something that was there's like a streak of good drafts. There's also a streak of like not the greatest drafts, right? But that draft is good. Because I feel like the 2011, 2012 streak isn't the greatest streak, like the John Wall one. Because the only one that's left in John Wall is Paul George now. Um, the I think the next one's Anthony Davis. That one just more has him and Dame. But that's we'll get to those drafts. We'll definitely get to those drafts. But that 96 draft really had some star power. It has guys who influence the league, like legit guys who influence the league greatly. You have an all-timer, especially defensive player, as one of the undrafted players who
Yes, yes.
change like the game. Some interesting things about this draft in the undrafted, there is maybe I hope I'm missing anyone else, but there's two coaches who are in the undrafted, which is Adrian Griffin and Darvin Ham.
Shout out.
So
Shout
both
out.
undrafted and both became NBA coaches. So big ups to them. Big ups to them. Um, yeah, this draft is one of the better ones. You have a few defensive players of the year. You have, of course, NBA champions. You have seven All Stars.
Bunch of
You
all-stars, yeah.
you have three MVPs. You have some. The I don't know how that worked out. The Sixers selected two Major League Baseball players in the second round, so you have some baseball players as well. Fun facts. Fun facts, fun facts, fun facts. What do you think about this? Like, what's your love or fascination about this draft?
How deep it is. Like, there's a lot of guys that Malik Rose, for
Mm-hmm.
example, like Jeff McInnes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Guys like that. Like, there's so much guys in this draft that like they would play pivotal roles in the league. You know what I mean? For years. You know what I mean? That are not like the Sharif Abdul Rahim or whatnot. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so this is a good draft. This had the hardest draft photo. You know what I mean? The hardest draft photo. So
It does.
you know what I mean? And shout out to Camby coming to Toronto. Shout out to Camby. I remember that, man. I remember that. Shout out to the Candy Man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it was a
And I
huge
think it's
draft.
because like since the Raptors were a franchise team, they couldn't get the number one overall pick. They weren't allowed to
That
because
was
they're
the
like
thing.
brand new, so they weren't allowed to get the number one pick. So they had to get the number two. Because I don't think the Sixers had a worse record. I think the Raptors had a worse record. But the Raptors being a franchise, I think that was like a rule because you're not allowed to like just tank because then teams will just get new, like they'll become new and then well,
Just
it's like a
tank
whole
it for
thing.
5 years and just get all these.
Yeah. Yeah. They have all this like draft capital. Like, yeah, they would not want that at all. There's like Tony Delk was a player
Yep,
at one
yep.
point. Eric Dampier was a player. Roy Rogers, I remember. I didn't even know this guy was drafted on the team. Now I think about it. Shouts out to once again, we're from Toronto, so shouts out to Jerome Williams.
JYD was 96.
J
Oh my God.
JYD, like he was. When you talk about like I think Raptors, and I think this is an overall NBA thing. There's a type of player that NBA fans and just sports fans in general love. That guy who's gonna jump and get for a loose ball. The guy who's gonna play hard no defense. He's gonna do everything and then also be like a person within the community. JYD is consistently in Toronto.
I know. I know. And he's forever gonna get love out here.
He's
They
here all the
should.
time. He has an organization he does in Toronto all the time. He's out here. So shouts out to JYD. Like that's he's from Toronto to us, right? You said Malik Rose, who's a second rounder. Like there's some guys, man. There is honestly some guys. So shouts out to this 96 draft where, you know, this is once again why I kind of like the college players playing longer.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I like him playing because you just look at this draft as well, like you had said. The first, the first six picks still has 5 out of 6 of them being all stars, at least all stars.
I feel like the first like 15 in that draft was like they were saying something.
It's better than we're like begging for draft players now. Like we're begging for it. That's when people are so like, I get it. Cooper, we both believe in Cooper.
Oh man.
Right? And there's a few guys like the Boozer ones. There's never been, I saw a thing, there's never been a father and son all-star. So like there's never been a father and son both have been all-stars. Never. So I'm very interested to see because this guy's projected to be number one. So if he becomes an all-star, that's the first time ever that a son and a father have both been all-stars in the NBA.
I never know. Okay.
Right. So that's very interesting to see because the one thing LeVar Ball, and I always remember this said, that a great NBA player never produces a great NBA son. It just never happens.
It's so true. It's so true. You gotta be mediocre.
Yeah, getting or the dad is mediocre, but no, never two all stars. That like
Never two. Yeah, you're right. You're right
never
about
two all stars.
that.
But like yeah, you're now like fiending for it. Like when you go down the line, when we get to future drafts, we'll look at like a draft that will have maybe a top one or two really good, and then down the line just doesn't fit the bill,
Mhm.
right? It just doesn't fit the bill. So, but these ones did. So I really think college. Let's give at least 3 years. I know some would say like two, but with the NIL deals, give them three.
Three, because hey, a lot of y'all are not gonna make it into the NBA and get drafted NBA and probably playing overseas for not $1 million. You know what I mean? So
Right?
might
They
as
have
well
the
bank
NIL
in on
deals anyway.
college. Yeah, bank on college for 3 years. Yeah.
Okay, so let's do this draft. We're drafting the. I wonder. I gotta do the YouTube Shorts because those increase the viewership. But when I really get some time, I'm gonna really put that in as a thing to do to make it easier as well.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we both have a oh, there's a guy that's not on my top 10. I can't wait to tell you this person. If you know me well, so you know who's not on my top 10. But I would say no names yet, but you know me well enough to know that I don't have a certain guy on my top 10. I can't wait to discuss why I don't have this guy. Um, no shade on this person. I just want, yeah. Before you even say your draft, are you picking based off? Of course, we already know everything that happened with most of these guys' careers. Are you picking like who had the best career, and this is who I would want if I start a franchise? I know their career is going to be like this, so I want
Yeah.
that guy's career.
Yeah, yeah, for the most part. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Who is? I'm so curious. Who is your first pick?
Honestly, the first five to me, like this is definitely a hard to pick the 10. I'm not gonna lie, this was one of the hardest things to do to pick the 10. So my first 96, is gonna be Kobe Bean, you know. I think we all agree he's done an overall career, whatnot, longevity, games, points, rings. It's Kobe, right? What about you for number one?
So this could this one can't be a hard one. It's gonna be Kobe, of course. Kobe for everything that he's done in the league.
Yeah,
As a Toronto Raptor fans, we he gave us 81.
you gave Jalen Rose mainly.
He definitely did. And like I remember, even I think it's after the 81, I think he played in Toronto and he like absolutely killed us again. I know Alan Anderson was guarding him one time and like
Oh, yeah,
he was just torching us. And you're just like, can anyone guard this man? Like, can anyone guard him? And Kobe's just that guy. His legacy for the game. Like that's what I'm saying. This draft has a lot of guys. There's players currently that they talk about playing like them now, right? There is people say Trey Young is Steve Nash. They say like John Morant is Allen Iverson. Like
holy shit. Okay.
we've been trying to find the next Kobe.
Comparisons, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, right. There's no next Kobe. R.I.P. to him. Gianna as well, and everyone who passed away in that plane crash. Um, but yeah, Kobe was he was a guy, man. He was a killer on the court. He just was. He just was. The highlights galore, teaming up with Shaq that
Yeah.
time. Teaming up with Shaq that time. Only if Shaq, I think he admits it now, if Shaq matured.
They
I
would
think
have
if
had
Shaq
nine.
matured,
They would
I,
have had nine.
you know, this is just a question I want to pose to you. If Shaq matured, this team would have stayed together a little longer.
100%.
We would have seen Kobe's becoming a better player. Maybe Kobe wouldn't have left or asked for a trade. Let's pretend Kobe would want to stay in there happier. That's a few more rings. Do you think not Kobe's legacy, but Shaq's legacy? He's talked about like top two all time, top three all time.
If yeah, he definitely in the top five convo, 100%. Like, I can't, top three, right? Yeah, he'd be top three talked about, definitely. Because you would have, let's say, 7 rings if you were serious. You know what I mean? And 7 rings is, it's real. Two, you have a three-peat. You could have went for another three-peat, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? To be honest, but it didn't work out. So,
Because I'm
but
thinking at least Shaq would have won two more. And he probably would have got another finals MVP. So he would have had four finals MVP, five, titles, and he would have just been dominant, right? So, well, if we're saying Shaq is series, are we also we're probably saying that Detroit series, Shaq and Kobe get along, and Shaq is dominating Detroit as well.
no, no, they lost to Detroit undersized.
Like
Just shows you how
crazy.
nice Ben Wallace was. It just shows you. Like, it just,
Yeah, Ben also is he's good. He's definitely gonna be on this list as well. But yeah, Kobe's number one. There's obviously no question about it. That's the guy that like he's generational.
mhm.
He, I think I was always watching ball, but I would say I almost religiously started on the when the Boston Celtics Big Three happened. And then like that whole series done with Kobe, then Kobe winning the title, all those things
That
like
was tough. That was a hard trip to win.
right, right. When he got Gasol and everything. But yeah, Kobe's my number one. Let's go number two. Who's your number two?
Number two, like, this is hard, man. Like, I'm still wondering if this is the right, like, shoot, man.
I was
I'm
having the
going,
same argument with myself.
I'm going Ray Allen.
You were, you know what's so crazy about that? I was thinking of like being like, the career that I would want. I would want Ryan's career. Like, why wouldn't I want that? He stayed healthy most of the time. He still won two rings, no matter if people want to. The Boston Celtics fans can be mad at the fact that he went to the Heat, but
Yeah,
his career was pretty good.
it was. It was. He was a gunner, lights out. Jesus Shuttlesworth, like, and he had longevity. He had longevity. Keywords is good careers and longevity. Rings too. Those were my 3 things I looked at. So
I like the Ray Allen pick. I didn't pick him. I'm a coward. I should have picked him. I'm a coward. I should have because it to me, like we talked about career wise. he did have the better career, But then I picked someone else who, even by the name on my title, I picked Steve Nash. He
Yeah,
was
yeah. I
he was my
figured,
number two.
yeah,
Because if I think about careers, what he did for, I don't want to go too international, but he did a lot for Canada basketball as a whole. He helped a generation overall. He's RJ Barrett's godfather. Like he did a lot for NBA as a whole. And when he was on, he was a problem. The one thing he didn't want to do, which I wish he did more, is he should have shot more.
man, he was a real gunner.
He
He was
should have
a real
shot a
gunner.
lot more. He just wanted to pass the ball, get his 13 assists. He's a two-time MVP. I don't, people can be like, oh, well, Shaq should have won it 1 year. Da, da, da. The year Nash deserved it the most, his MVP, people watch all his seasons, was the year he didn't win it, which was the third one.
Yeah,
It could have been a three-peat. That was his best season out of all of them.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
He was the most efficient. Like his assists were great. He I think certain players are overrated, like Amari Stoudemire, and I think without Steve Nash, there's no Amari Stoudemire. That's
100%.
7 seconds. It's 7 seconds or less, right? 7 seconds of the D'Antoni offense. Yeah, I think like that offense was crazy. Like
Especially those times in that era, like there was no team playing like that.
everything we saw in Phoenix, I need people to realize that's the Golden State Warriors now,
Yes, yes.
but their point guard just shoots more.
I feel like that's the NBA kind of now.
Yeah, yeah, yes, yes, yes. Think Steve Nash in this era would be like 24 and fucking 12
Yeah, easily, maybe more.
on better efficiency because he's a better efficient version of Trey Young.
Way better. That's not even a question. Remember, Steve Nash was shooting like 40% from three. Don't sleep.
Steve Nash is a guy, man. He's a guy. He was my number two, definitely my number two. I have to go Steve Nash. Who's your number three?
That's my number three. So you took the words right out of my mouth with everything you said,
So I'm
man.
assuming then your number four is my number three,
It
right?
should be. It
Because I
should be.
think our top four is pretty set.
It should be. Yeah.
Right? So my number three is Mr. Allen Iverson,
100. Yeah, yeah.
right? But I already spoke about Steve Nash, and your Iverson's number four, so you
Yeah,
go.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, you already know, man. But man was electrifying, you know what I mean? But I don't like how his career went down at the end there, right? Mainly because of him too, right? But yeah, man, he changed the game. Like he changed the game, the style of play, the style of the point guard, the combo guard. Like, because it was cookie cutter guard league, right? You're a one, you came in, your job was play like Stockton. That was it. You know what I mean? Play like Stockton, play like Kid. Well, Kid at the full. It's in the story, but play like Stockton, right? So
Uh, uh,
it
when
was.
we talk about culture and like changing the culture and like actually changing the NBA, right? There's a few players I think change the NBA as much as like we can. Kobe's Kobe and LeBron's LeBron. I'm sorry, nobody changed the NBA the way Allen Iverson changed the NBA.
Hell
He
no.
changed
No, yeah,
he changed the way we fucking dress, okay?
yeah, yeah, yeah. He
Like
had to make a style code because of dress code in the league because of him. It's
right?
crazy.
I was into a podcast, I think it could have been today, and they talk about Allen Iverson, and they're saying that like someone like called Allen Iverson to tell it was David Stern because David Stern, when he was commish, he didn't let things pass. He's like, yo, if I don't like something, I'm telling you. And he had called Allen Iverson and said, stop this shit now, or I'm suspending you the way I suspended Michael Jordan for that year. Which a lot of people think that that's why Jordan left, right? Because he got suspended. That's the rumor that so it doesn't seem to do with Al Iverson. Like you said, Iverson's end of career didn't it wasn't great. Like he jumped a bunch of teams. He was on Detroit. He was on the Grizzlies. He was in what other team? He's on
Nuggets,
yeah, like he was on a bunch of teams. So it wasn't the guy.
Pistons, yeah.
Yeah, people don't know, man. People that guy was our culture, bro. He was the
It's
music
crazy.
industry. Man was getting braids with from his mom doing his braids, and like during a game, like the man was our culture. He really was, and like he deserves a lot of flowers. Like a lot of current veteran players. Like LeBron says his favorite players are Michael Jordan, Allen Iverson. Dwayne Wade said his favorite player was Allen Iverson. Like Allen Iverson was the
That
answer. He
yeah.
really was the answer. Like people don't know, man. People really don't know. Like I can talk about Allen Iverson for a while. People just don't understand that this man was like
He was lightning on the court, man. Like he was the real quickest guard I've still. To me, he's the one of the quickest players I've still seen. You know what I mean? And then quick and fast. Like he get up the floor quick, blow by fast. I say blow by you quick. People argue Kyrie. Kyrie has more of a handle pack. Iverson just killed you. He just killed you. He didn't
yo,
waste time. He just got the ball, killed you. Just
Shaq and Kobe didn't lose that like that is it 99 to 0 or 0001 playoff series where they lost one game. One of the most dominant runs ever in NBA history. Lost one game to one man, Allen Iverson.
literally because you didn't lose to Eric Snow, Aaron McKee, Matt Geiger, right? Like you didn't lose to those
Matumbo was
guys.
on that squad too, right?
Who else was on squad?
Matumbo.
I think Mutombo, yeah, Mutombo, old Mutombo,
Yeah, old Matumbo still.
right? So
Yeah. Yeah. So
yeah,
yeah, I don't
lift,
he's
like
he's that guy. And then so then my number four is Ray Allen. You already said everything about Ray Allen. I agree with you. His career wise, like I agree with you so much. I almost would move Allen to number two because I'm thinking about the career I would want. But I think what Nash did offensively and what Iverson did culturally in and out of basketball,
you're right though.
that impact is just so much. So I give him a lot. Who is your number five?
My number five, my number five. This is I'm
I
gonna go.
already think you have the same number five. By the way you're saying it, I think we mean you have the number five. That's my assumption. Go ahead.
Oh no, my number five is Starberry.
Okay, no, no,
Man,
no, no.
sound
So
disappointed.
that's the one I don't have on the list.
I know. That's what I'm like.
I
I know,
would never put that guy on the list.
I know.
I'll let you. Why is he your number five? I should say.
Man, Starberry is a ball player. Whether you love him or hate him, that guy can play ball, man. See what I'm saying? He can get to his spots, hit the shot. He's a three-level scorer, and he's a strong guard, right? He has issues. We all have issues, but at the end of the day, Marbury was that guy in high school, college, and sometime in the NBA still. I cannot lie.
I know he was a good player. I know. I get that he was a good player. And I'm not doubting it. But like we were talking about career wise, he's the one career I would never want because I don't want all the talent in the world just to like believe that the league that I own the league like him, Stevie Francis, like players like that at that time all didn't humble themselves enough to become like great players. If they humbled themselves more, in all honesty, they'd be better players. Now, Marbury in China was like a fucking legend. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
he was a legend. He won
Ball player in
titles
the
in
league.
China.
He's a ball. You put ball in the league.
Yeah,
Who's gonna
like
go to China and drop 40 maybe?
yeah, he was a guy in China. My number five was Peja Stojakovic.
Yeah. Pedro's balling. Pedro's
Peja,
balling. He was
Peja,
gunning.
Peja was Klay Thompson before Klay Thompson,
Yeah, he was gunning, and his form was ugly as shit, but he was just hitting.
and you couldn't leave the man open. You couldn't. I was happy when he joined the Raptors for fucking 2 months. Okay. So I was pretty ecstatic about that. But so Page is my number five. Like not much to really say about Page. He was just a really good like fourth man on a title team, like a fourth guy.
Killing in
Um,
Sacktown.
that whole Sacktown squad is so like you when you like reflect on it, you're like, yo, that team was like
They had the
a
right mix.
team.
Yeah, they
Bibby
had the right mixture.
Stojakovic, Chris Webber, Divac, like Doug Christie off the. I think he probably
Doug Chris off the bench. Scott Pollard is one
come
of your
on,
picks
man.
off the
That
bench.
that
Like,
that team
stop
was
this.
was
You got Bobby
nasty,
Jackson.
bro. That team was like something. Like talent wise, that had more talent than the Lakers. as a
Yeah,
totality. Just
yeah.
did the two mans, just did a lot of shit.
Two
Did a
men
lot of shit.
killed. Yeah, because you guys had like C Web was doing this thing, Baby was doing this thing, but Kobe and Shaq those days was just
No problem. Who's your number six?
my number six is as an undrafted guy, Big Ben, big big mother loving Ben. That's my number six, undrafted defensive player of the year. Who
Um,
won?
so was mine. My number six is Ben
You
Wallace,
already know. You already know.
four-time defensive player of the year. He, with of course a cast of characters in Detroit, won a title with Larry Brown. That team was a hella good. He was a
Crazy
defensive anchor, and once again, he was undrafted
and
and
undersized and
and undersized,
undersized.
right? Like his career was never going to be long because of him being undersized, and the league was not transitioning at the time. It wasn't, but his game wasn't like he fit perfectly under Detroit. He didn't fit underly well, like with Cleveland and other teams. So, but
Yeah.
like you said, he was such a problem defensively that you had to pay respect to him. So,
What?
number seven,
My number seven, I got who's oh yeah, Sharif Abdul Rahim. Shout out.
he
He was a
just
good little
didn't.
player still. He was averaging 20s straight for a stretch of his career. You know what
Nah,
I mean?
he
He's not
was
really
good.
talked about, but he had game. He had game.
Before I put Ben Wallace, because I forgot about Ben Wallace for a second, he was my number 10. But then because I put Ben Wallace, he didn't make my top 10. My number seven is Jermaine O'Neal
Say less. Say less.
because Jermaine O'Neal had like I'll say a 3 year stretch where he was a guy.
Jermaine had an amazing 3 year stretch, but that was when the Pacers were kind of cooking up something, and then it stopped. Right when they had Jalen Rose, right?
Yeah.
Jermaine O'Neal, they were kind of cooking up something, right?
See, I say 3 year stretch, but it looks like it was much longer, like a 5 year stretch. He's a six-time All-Star.
They kind of
Um,
hated because he came over from Portland to Indiana, right? And that's when he really
yeah,
started balling in
yeah,
Indiana.
yeah, yeah. And once he went to Portland was he was crazy. He's a two-time All NBA third team. He's a one-time second team All NBA. So he definitely did his thing. Those
I used
Pacers years was good for him. Definitely good for him. Who? What's next? That's your seventh. You said your seventh.
My seventh is Peja. Shout out to Stojakovic. Let's get it. And he was 6'10", shooting like that too. No
He
sleep.
was really like a
No
person,
sleep.
man.
Yeah.
And he's one of the European mans that played a lot of his time in NBA. All these European mans, they like come so late and like there's always a thing with them. But
Yes, you're right. And this was in those days. Yeah.
yeah, those times.
Yeah.
So like it's good that he was good. My number eight, Antoine Walker.
Okay, 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 okay. That's a good pick. That's a very good pick.
He was a nice like complimentary player. Maybe he was a number two with Paul Pierce, but I feel like they were battling for number one a little bit.
Yes, they were. They were. Because Walker,
Funny enough, because they're in Boston, the guys behind me also kind of have that same dynamic, but Paul Pearson thing didn't win. Those guys behind me won. But Anton Walker's a good like a good third, fourth guy on a title team. So
very, very good third or fourth guy. I can't
shot
even.
the three well.
Big
Um,
body, was good in the post. He
yeah,
could dribble.
offensively was a good player.
He was Twan was pretty legit, fam. Twan was a legit player.
He was very much so. Who's your eighth?
Eighth is I gotta go with hold on, eighth. Okay. It's Jermaine.
Jermaine O'Neal. Also,
Jermaine
like
O'Neal.
we don't talk about the fact that so Kobe came out of college. So
Yeah.
did Jermaine O'Neal.
No, Kobe came out of college, high school. You mean high school?
Sorry, high school. Yes,
Yeah.
Kobe came out of high school, and Jermaine O'Neal also came out of high school. So both guys coming out of high school to be who they were. Jermaine O'Neal was super young coming into the league. Like Shouts out to anyone coming into the league like that young, like legit that young and still making a splash. And shouts out to Jermaine O'Neal. Like I
Shout out
said,
to
six-time
you.
All-Star, pretty good.
Um, so now we're on your ninth because I was ninth, I believe. Yeah, that was my ninth.
Yeah. My ninth is Marcus Camby.
He was honorable mention for me. I had to honorable mention for me.
Yeah, it makes sense because his career didn't become what it could have been, but
Supposed to
he's
be.
still a sort of defensive player of the year.
He was the
Um,
blocks leader, I believe, too.
yeah, like he
He
in
wasn't
his
bad in the league. And he was killing it in Massachusetts back in college days. What? He was that guy.
yeah, two-time defensive one-time defensive player of the year, uh two times defensive second team, four times block leader.
That's crazy.
Like the thing is, I can say it now, but like if he scored more, he would average a double double with
Yeah, if he scored
two.
like 6 points more, right? Something like that.
Even no, the man scored point 5 points more. Like just point five because he's 9.5 points per game, 9.8 rebounds per game, and blocks 2.4. So ultimately, it's those last few years that probably took down his percentage.
It's not bad. I know he played in Denver for a bit too with Kenny and Martin, AI, Melo a little bit.
No, he was definitely good. Once again, this draft is like the thing. All the guys we're naming are guys that like we'd be like, no man, if you were on our squad, we'd be pretty happy.
Yeah,
We'd be pretty
legit.
happy. That was my number nine. You say number nine?
I said, yeah, it was Jermaine O'Neal. My number
So
10
number 10. Who's your number 10?
is Antoine Walker.
Yeah, which makes
Antoine
sense.
Walker. We got a lot of guys. We got basically everyone right, except Marbury, just different order.
Yeah. And there's another guy that because you didn't have Marcus Camby. Oh, well, I
Yeah.
guess because you had Marbury. My number 10 probably feels like changing it, but I remember him having a good stretch and he was an all-star. Was Aljundras Zelgauskas.
I had him and I had to take him off the list too because I was like, yo, there's Ben Wallace. And I'm like, shit.
Right, the Ben Wallace one, like I was like, oh, like he changed my whole board.
So that's why I'm like, Z, I got a lot of love for you, Z. But
Like Algaso is a two-time All-Star. Um, he got his jersey retired from Cleveland. I think it's
Augustus
just
was
because
smooth.
like it sucks. He wasn't supposed to be. He became LeBron's like second guy
Hmm. Hmm.
during those seasons. Like LeBron needed him. I don't think that was his actual role. I think he wouldn't really play in the league now, honestly. But he would have been someone who could help. He kind of reminds me of like a Zubac.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. 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 But I feel a better passer.
Right, right, right. So, we mentioned our honorable mentions was Sharif Abdul Rahim. Now, and I didn't bring up Marbury because like no, I already mentioned him. A
Yeah.
guy that was on my could have been list, and that's because of his career. And sometimes we focus so much on stars
Hmm.
that it's okay to look at a non-star and his career and what's happened. So Derek Fisher, I want
I
to say
know. I
deserves a
know.
lot of love
I know. Because he
because
was like 17 or 18th on the draft. Yeah.
Kobe hasn't won any ring without Derek Fisher.
It's so true.
Kobe's worst years in the league when the team were trash. Not the latter part of his years. I'm talking about that middle part of his years
Yeah.
where people called him a ball hog. Was without Derek Fisher. That was without Derek Fisher. When Derek Fisher came back to the squad, they started winning titles again.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember there was a little break. D Fish was on the squad. Yeah. Yeah. Yo.
So shout out to Derek Fisher. If we talk about careers, if we talk about like if you prioritize championships, is D Fish not number two on the list then? If you think about it like that,
It was like five, right? She has five. 4 or 5.
he
How
has
much is
five.
that?
He has five
This
with
one?
Kobe. Every single Kobe when he was there.
He was, yeah, because he got drafted that year. He got drafted to the Lakers too, or he got traded. I forgot.
I'm assuming he got out to the Lakers because Kobe got traded to the Lakers.
Oh yeah, that pick got traded. Okay, so shoot. Yeah,
Yeah,
D Fish had a I remember Tony Delk had a decent career too.
right? But when
He
you talk
was
about titles, like no one's touching for obviously no one's touching Kobe. Nash has no titles. Iverson has no titles. Allen has two. Peja has one. Ben has one. Jermaine O'Neal has zero. Antoine Walker, Marcus, like none. But you
mhm.
go Derek Fisher has five as a starting point guard.
As a that's legit. You know that's legit.
He doesn't have the stats of the All Stars, but the championships he slaps.
He slaps. You're a starter. You're a
Right?
starter that brings, like I said, would you be okay winning a championship, right? And you did not get any PT on the team.
Or you're a starter
You,
and like you don't win a title.
you know what I mean? Like you won a ring, you didn't get no PT in the playoffs. In the season, you got like average 5 minutes a game. When the playoffs, you got 0 minutes logged. Zero.
Yeah, I don't win a title, man.
You want to win a title.
I don't want a title.
I hear
The
you.
guy knows the stats and numbers are great, and that gets you more bread. But I want to win a title.
I hear you. I hear that.
Okay. But then I also feel like eventually you don't want to always just win a title. You want the bag.
You
Like
definitely want the bag.
even
You
Fred
want
Van
to mix,
Vliet
you want a
said,
both. You want to mix of both.
exactly. Yes, exactly. Like Fred Van Vliet said, like maybe last year when he was going to free agency, he's like, I want a title. So I want the money now. I'm like, I did it. Like I'm good. I want the money. Right. And I feel like the Gilbert Arenas podcast first started it, and I heard another podcast, and I can kind of see it now. Sometimes winning a title isn't everything, right? Maybe you want to make the bag. Maybe you want to be the James Harden, make as much money as you can, feed your family, have generational wealth. Because that when you hear that, oh no, sign me up for generational wealth. Like sign me up for that. Yes, I really want a title, and I'm gonna be depressed if I don't win one. But that generational wealth for my
It's
family's
not being
future,
selfish. Either way, you're not being selfish. You want to win a title for the team, sacrifice for the team, sacrifice for family. Either way, you're not being selfish. When
right?
you think
Like
about the title or the bag, so
right. So I
do what you
think
got to do.
that's it. But that was our 96 draft. That is who we drafted overall. This draft, every man we named are mans you would want on your squad today.
Shout
Like,
out to key players, some not key players, but some guys. Shout out Jeff McInnes, Moochie Norris. You know what I mean? Shout out those guys. You know what I mean?
wow, there's so much talent in this draft. Like
Telling you,
this
telling you.
draft actually had the draft had
Kerry Kittles, runs it right. Like
I
shout out,
I didn't even mention Kerry Kittles, man, who was a guy, like he helped that New Jersey squad as well.
holy.
There's just squads, man. There's a bunch of guys on the squad overall. So definitely shouts out to them. Big kudos, big kudos. But do you have anything else you want to talk about for the pod?
That's it. I think we covered everything.
Perfect, perfect. So it's just the 97 draft. I think because I'm pretty sure not a lot of stuff is gonna happen. We probably just have Olympic ball. I
Yeah,
think we may do 97, 98 draft.
yeah.
We may
Let's
do
do that
both
next.
drafts next week. Depending on unless Brandon Ingram gets traded, Zach LaVine gets traded, and all this chaos happens, which I don't think is gonna happen.
Not happening.
Not during the Olympic time. I think the Olympic time, everyone's chilling, Masai's chilling, but
Yeah,
nothing's happening.
everyone's in petty.
Right. Like everyone's kicking it, doing nothing. So we'll have to wait and see. But for the DM podcast, that is your boy YS. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And give us your list. Do you think Kobe's number one? If you don't think Kobe's number one, tell us. I did not pick Stephon Marbury. If you agree with me, make sure you let me know. If you disagree with me,
Shout out
comment too.
Starberry.
Right. We'll talk again. Peace.